What's up, students? This is Adrian coming to you live from our Southwest Student Ministry studio. It's pretty fancy in here. As you can see, we got some sweet graphics up here. This is free. If you haven't seen John Krasinski's Some Good News, he's got homemade artwork his girls drew in his office. This inspired me. So this is sadly the boys did not draw this. I drew that. Block S's lot harder than you think, or maybe you know that. I did not know that. So that's what we got. If you are sitting at home and you're bored and you want to make us some new artwork for future series, please make some. Send them my way. These can be retired. But that's what we got for right now. So we're about to start this new series called Favs. This week we're going to be talking about music. One of the reasons we're doing this is because I know that the last thing you want to do right now is watch another video of someone teaching, or watch another, or get on and listen to another Zoom call of someone teaching. So this is just kind of a series we're going to do, talking about favorites. I'll talk a little bit. I have an interview this week talking to Doyle just a little bit, and then lots of people are going to be sharing their favorites. And so hopefully it'll just give you some, get to hear people's hearts and give you some ideas of other music out there that can help us connect to God, and be just non-anxious people of peace and faith and love in these times. So each week we'll do a different favorite. This week we're starting with music because I love music and it really speaks to me. And so Dul and I are going to have a conversation about music that you'll see here in a minute. And then you'll hear from lots of people talking about how music is ministering to them during this time. And some of the songs that are really ministering and connecting them with God, and with His peace and love during these kind of crazy times. And then we'll put together a playlist of all of those songs that you'll have, can listen to if you want. So I hope it's a blessing to you. It's what we got right now. Wish we could be together, not awkwardly talking to each other from our bedrooms, but that's what we got. So hope this is a blessing to you. Enjoy it. And we'll talk to you soon. See you. What's up, Southwest Student Ministry Church family? Welcome to our first ever little series we're going to try here. Doyle is joining us. I am a little self-conscious about this title. We've called it Favs. And that may be the worst title or the best title I've ever come up with. I'm not sure. But I'm also trapped in the house with 2, 4, and 6-year-olds, so I'm not thinking wide clearly. So that's my defense. But we each week we're going to talk to some different people, talk about some of our favorite things. And this week we're going to be talking about music. So that's why Doyle is joining us. Most of you know, I think, that Doyle loves music. You may not know that I also love music. And you may not know, Doyle is aware of this, but most of you may not know that my dream in life is to be on the praise team.
We can make that happen.
Doyle holds my dream in his hands. It still hasn't happened yet, but maybe one day, Doyle.
Maybe when we get back together, we'll have a microphone for you.
And the crazy thing is, those of y'all who know me, you know that I have this incredible gift where I can sing any part. I can sing bass, tenor.
Sometimes at the same time, right?
What's the one in between?
Alto?
No. I thought there was some fancy term.
Baritone?
Yeah. That's it. Baritone.
Yeah.
I can sing them all. So, but even despite that gift, I still, I can sing any part of it. Maybe
gifted. Gifted.
Yeah. So, but seriously, Doyle and I both love music. What separates us is Doyle knows music. I know nothing about music. I know that I love music, but that's about all I know about music. And Doyle knows music, loves music, studied it a lot. So I wanted to have Doyle on because I want us to talk a little bit about music, and then you're going to get to hear from a lot of people about kind of their favorite songs and how music is helping them in these times. So I hope that is helpful to you. So, Doyle,
Yes, sir.
just a little bit about why do you love music? When did your love music start? How did that begin for you?
Well, first, before I go into that, I would say, Adrian says he loves music, and like Adrian's a guy that, and he's not a musician, he's not a singer. I mean, he sings, he worships, but he is a guy that seriously knows the heart behind music as much as anybody I know. When there are times where I'm like, "Hey, can you think of a song?" Or he'll send me a song that he says, "I think this is perfect for what we're doing this week," and I mean, he's spot on. It's cool. So
I'm always
I love that
blowing.
y'all are. Say that again.
I'm always blowing you up with new songs.
That's right. And I love being blown up with new songs. Send them to me. So my love of music began very early. Part of it is because my family loved to sing, which was weird because my mom, I hope she's not watching this. My mom's not the greatest singer, but my dad loved to sing. He was a music major for his 1 year in college and loved music. And all my family did music and band and choir and that kind of stuff. So we'd get in the car together and we'd sing on our way to places. And then the church that I grew up in when we moved there when I was about 6 in Lubbock, they just placed a high value on music and on singing. So I started learning how to read music when I was really little and how to write music when I was little and that kind of thing. So that was cool. And then the I don't know why when you asked me this memory came to mind. My 4th grade music teacher at Hardwick Elementary in Lubbock. Her name was Mrs. Zakresic. We called her Mrs. Zach. And I just remember at one concert, she allowed me to do 2 things. I was the donkey in the Noah and the Ark song, and like the donkey was the star. So I got to be the donkey, and I got to play bongos during that concert. And so I think that set me down the path. And so I was always in band and choir and loved both. And that's the career I pursued. And I'll say that, I fell in love with music at an early age. It was kind of our life, but I keep on falling in love with it again. I hear a new piece, or I heard, like just yesterday, I was listening to a group that someone sent me a link to that I was undone by it. It was fantastic. So I fall in love with a different way and different songs and that kind of thing. So yeah, loved it for a long time.
Awesome. I have this belief or thought that it just seems like everyone loves music or needs music, and obviously it's all different types of music. We don't all love the same type of music. We're not all moved by the same type of music. But if you walk through an airport, everyone's got their AirPods in, headphones in. If you walk through a school today, walk around the school, everyone's got AirPods in. Everyone's listening to music, it seems like. So why is that? What is it about music that draws us in?
Yeah, so music for me, and I think this is true for most people. There are a few outliers, but for most people, music is transcendent in that it connects heart and mind. It like it you're hearing like things that work your mind, but it also moves you in your heart. So like if you want to get this experience, try watching a movie without the soundtrack. Watch Star Wars and watch watch Darth Vader come in without that Imperial March music, and he looks like a dork in a dorky suit. But man, that Imperial March music comes on, and you're like, "Whoa, this dude's evil! This is awesome!" Or there's a trend in putting like really grand music, like the "I Will Always Love You" or whatever the song is from the Titanic. and putting that on very mundane things, putting that as a bed on mundane things, and it like makes that so much greater because of the music. So it connects heart and mind. I I've read a long time ago. If I'm wrong on this, I don't want to know that I'm wrong, but I read that one of Hitler's most valued staff members was his music leader, because they would have these big rallies and his music leader come out there and get them singing together, and these people were like solidified together that they were one people with one agenda, and they are all together. So it also brings people together. There's a study out there that says they did these choirs, and they put heart monitors on these choirs, and they began singing together, and as they were singing together, their hearts began to beat together, like to the same rhythm, which is crazy to me. So that's why I say transcendent. So when we sing together, when we make music together, I don't know if that's true for bands too, but when we make music together, our hearts begin to beat together. And so for me, yeah, humans need music. There's a quote I read that said, without music, it's like a journey. Life is like a journey through a desert. Like it's just death everywhere, but music brings life to us. So I think that's why it's expressed by most people.
Right. So, one of the things that you see in Scripture is almost from the very beginning and then throughout Scripture, people are worshiping God. They're using music, and obviously, worship in the Old Testament looks different than worship in 2020. But they always had music. People haven't always had podcasts or books even, but they've always had music, and people have always used music to connect them to God. So what do you think it is about music that helps us connect with
Yeah, a lot of the same thing I answered in the last question. It's just transcendent. It connects heart and mind. I mean, you talk about it in Scripture. It was very early on in Genesis when I think it was Tubal-Cain was the creator of musical instruments, and so they're creating these instruments because they need a way. It's a way to express love or express themselves in whatever it is. That it can express anger, it can express sadness, that kind of thing. So, and then the first time worship is mentioned is actually with no music, and that's when Abraham said to Isaac, or said to these guys, y'all stay here with the donkeys. Isaac and I are going to go up on the mountain and worship. That didn't have anything to do with music at all. So there's a connection between music and worship. That's just beautiful. So it unifies us, like we said earlier. It connects our heart and mind. There's a Hans Christian Andersen quote that's pretty popular in the music world. It just says, where words fail, music speaks. So there's just some things that you can't express with just words, with just saying. But when we add music to it, or just have music alone, it speaks. Without words, it speaks, and we're moved by it.
So maybe it's just because I like music, really love music, but I think in these times, music really has a lot to offer us. People talk a lot about needing to exercise in these times, needing to maybe practice mindfulness or whatever your thing is. But I really think music has a lot to offer us in these kind of crazy times that we're living in. So how do you think music can help us in this season that we're in?
Well, I mean, I totally agree that music is important, and especially in times like this, because music gives you ways to express so many emotions and kind of deal with them even when you're expressing them, because you can sing songs of lament or like the blues of sadness and mourning, songs of praise. There's songs that just remind us of truth that we forget when we're isolated and that kind of thing. But we'll sing a song like never once have we ever walked alone. We'll sing this song and it reminds us, oh yeah, God's with me in all this. Or had it not been the Lord, or a praise song that reminds us, yeah, Jesus is my foundation, not the other things that I was so dependent on, or things like that. So it just gives us ways to express these truths and reminds us of these truths when we're isolated from others that might be reminding us of those truths.
That's why I love music. That's why I needed you
Right.
to help explain why music's so powerful. So last thing, how is music ministering to you in these times? What are maybe some songs or some music that's really connecting with you and helping you connect with God and remember those truths?
Yeah, so there's it's a wide array for me, and there's a lot of music in my life. Part of it, when you ask me that question, part of the music that's speaking to me on a weekly basis is the music that we're preparing for Sunday, because I really try to how do I say it? I try to worship with those songs before we get to Sunday, uh, to let it sink deep in my heart. But there's also Truett actually turned me onto this. The 1917 soundtrack from the movie 1917 is incredible. Like the movie's really good, but the soundtrack is moving. And so there's a lot of times when I'm in here in my makeshift office, and I just put on headphones and just let that play, and it's good music. And then I told you about the one that was sent to me yesterday was actually a recording of the Aeolian Choir, is what it's called, from Oakland University. It's a recording from the American Choral Directors Association convention last year in 2019. So yeah, last year. And it's 35 minutes of just beauty. It's so amazing. And it's choral, and it's got some instrumental with it, and they're like mixed in. I know that's not everybody's thing, but just it's amazing. I got stuck listening to that last night, and I loved it. As far as worship songs, I don't know why, but Only King Forever, especially there's two versions of it that I love. Elevation Worship, their version of it, and United Voice Worship, which is the version that we sing at church. I just love them, and it's a couple of reasons. One, it's just the beat, and it's a praise of Him being my King, Him being the firm foundation, of Him reigning, all those things. So it's good to sing those words and be reminded of those words. But it's just a jam too. It's fun. I love the difference in the verses, the beat in the verses, and the beat in the chorus. It's kind of got a little backbeat kick to it that's so cool to me. I love it. So that one comes up on my playlist a lot. I really like that one. And then there's another one that Everett sent me a few months ago. That's just I play and listen to pretty often. It's from a worship band in Lubbock called they're called Pursue Worship. They lead worship at a church. I think Church on the Rock is where they lead worship, and it's called Fully Known and Deeply Loved. It's kind of it's more of a reflective song, and the chorus is very simple but powerful to me. It's there's one thing I'm certain of: I'm fully known and deeply loved, which is so important for me to know. God knows every part of me, and even so, I am deeply loved by Him. So those are two of the ones that stand out to me right now. Only King Forever, Elevation Worship, and then Fully Known and Deeply Loved. Love that song. It's led by a female too, and she just got this soulful voice that's so good. I love it. So check those out.
Awesome. Thank you. I know it was hard for you to narrow it down to two songs.
I didn't. Yeah.
But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing about the power of music. I think this will be helpful to our students and to our church as we just try to connect with God and walk non-anxious, peaceful people of Jesus in these times. Music is such a gift to us. So thanks, man.
All right, man. Thank you.
So my favorite worship song is probably Rescue by Lauren Daigle. It's part of her Look Up Child album, and I really like the whole album, but this song stuck out to me because it's talking about how God will find you even in your darkest place, and He'll rescue you, and He'll send out an army for you. And it was just a really cool song. The first time I heard it, it just really stuck out to me, and so I've enjoyed listening to it and all the other songs on that album. She even wrote a video talking about like the story behind the song, and it was really impactful. It was just about how she wrote it about one of her friends and how they were struggling And she had like a dream that Jesus like came to them and didn't try to fix them or judge them for the decisions they'd been making, but instead sat there with them in their dark spot or in their hard situation. And so there are probably a lot of people out there struggling right now with just all of the unknowns and some anger maybe, or just disappointment in what we're missing out on. And so it's just a really good song to hear about how God's still with you even when you're feeling angry or sad about something. And so it's one of my favorites that I listen to a lot right now, and so I hope y'all will listen to it.
To Jesus I surrender. Hey guys, how are you? Quinn Bacchus here. Hey, miss you guys. Can't wait to see you guys again. See each and every one of you guys' faces. You know, with the craziness that's going on in our world today, with the coronavirus, with the social distancing, man, it's taking a toll on our families. Okay, Adrian reached out to me and asked me, you know, what song do I go to in a time like this? And the song that I go to in a time like this is I Surrender All. It's an old school song, just talking about how when things get rough, we surrender it all to Jesus. Okay, and for me, as a guy that loved to be in control, loved to do things my way, I realized that I can't do that. And I have to surrender whatever it is that's going on to Jesus, knowing that his love and his care for us and for me, he's enough. And he's going to take care of us, okay? Through this thing, he's going to take care of us. Love you guys. Y'all be safe and take care.
Hey guys, it's Peyton. I hope you guys are all doing well during this quarantine. I know me and Sloan miss everyone a lot, and I hope you guys are doing good and you're feeling good at home. Adrian had asked us to pick a song that makes us feel closest to God, and for me that song is Nothing I Hold On To by Will Reagan. I'll be honest, Sloan put me on this song. She showed me this song a couple years ago, and I think it was perfect, and it came at like just the right time when I needed those words. And so the song, I had heard it for the first time in the months leading up to going to camp, and the whole camp process for me was just very, very stressful, and I was just very anxious about it, and I just really wanted to do a great job. And so I when I would find myself being very anxious and stressed out, this song was always a song I could come back to and just feel this peace in the presence of God, truly. This song also came at like just a hard semester for us in general. So it was part of the perfect timing. And so I was going to read a line from it. It's probably, the song repeats itself, but I think it really hits home for me. And it's also one of my favorite Bible verses in Proverbs. And so here it is. I lean not on my own understanding. My life is in the hands of the maker of heaven. I give it all to you, God, trusting that you'll make something beautiful out of me. And then a little bit later on, it gives this image of going through the trials and tribulations of life. And I just love it. And it says, I will climb this mountain with my hands wide open. And for me, this has always been like an encouragement, and just knowing that we will face trials and tribulations. And then like even through those, just like having my hands open to praise God through them is just very, very, really cool for me to see, and I just love it a lot.
One song that is really speaking to my heart right now is the song Holy Water Church Sessions. It's a version of the song Holy Water that was recorded live, and I discovered this song because my friend posted it on her social media the night everyone was supposed to go back to school after spring break. So everything was supposed to be back to normal, and instead it was weird and strange, and no one knew what was going to happen in the next few weeks. And I turned it on, and it just started with that, God, I'm on my knees again. God, I'm begging, please again, I need you. And it was like I just exhaled finally. And as I just turned that up and praised God through that, I just felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. So that one's been on repeat for me. And another group of songs I'm really connecting with is a Spotify playlist called Hymns Old and New. It's a twist on old hymns. They're just done in a new way. And I just really connect with old hymns naturally because they remind me of childhood and singing with my family. And them being done in this new way with new artists is just a new way to connect with God through those songs.
So my song right now is Whisper by Jason Upton. And it's so important to me during this time of my life because I love the way God reminds us of who he is if we'll sit and listen. And I think it's during these times when we've struggled with what's going on in the world and how things have changed that we've had to sit and listen. And I love that he whispers in my ear and he tells me what I need to hear. He reminds me of who I am and what's important and allows me to rest on him. He lets me see what's in front of him, not in front of me. He tells me the things that are important for me to lean on him, to listen to him, and to be willing to accept his love. The song says over and over and over how much he loves me and how much he wants to tell me who I am with him. And I need that more than anything right now. Because I see people struggle every day and the things that got them through have been taken away. And so God reminds me, I'm who gets you through. Sit with me and let me whisper in your ear and let me do what no one else can.
The song that I go to right now is I Don't Want to Go by Chris Renzema. And it is, the reason that it's kind of my go-to song right now is because it talks about a lot in the song of the uncertainty of the future and the uncertainty of the present. And I think that that is very important right now when we're all isolated and we're all not knowing quite what the near future looks like and maybe what the long distance future looks like. I know right now as a college freshman, you're expected to know what you want to do for the next years of your life. And you have no clue. And you may have a clue, but that's okay if you don't. But right now that song is with me because Chris talks about I don't want to go if you're not going before me. And I want to be like these people in the Bible that are faithful and they're courageous and they don't know what's coming, like Moses. They don't know what's coming, but he still takes that step. And he's scared, he's terrified. We see that in the Bible. But I want to be like that person. I don't want to go unless you're going before me, unless God is going before me and laying my path like he talks about. So I got the chance to see that song live in Little Rock this past semester, right before his tour kind of got canceled because of all of the coronavirus. And when he was singing it, it was like he was the only person on stage and he was the only person in the room because he was focusing on telling God how much he doesn't want to go unless he's going before him and unless he's truly trusting and being faithful to God. And I want to live that kind of life. And so it's kind of the song that's kind of stuck with me right now.
So right now, my favorite group is King Kaleidoscope, and they've been my favorite group for a really long time. So if you know me at all, you've probably heard me listen to them or talk about them. But they're kind of old group, but they still come out with new stuff. And they have a very unique sound to them, and I think that's what intrigues me the most about the pieces that they write. And so the unique sound makes it more intriguing to listen, and so I feel like I listen more to the music and the lyrics of it. So my favorite song is probably Jaded Heights. It's part of a 3-set thing. It's the middle one, and it talks about just jumping through everything and like really going for it. And then in the middle of it, it has this like symphonic work of I'll Fly Away, and it's kind of bandy and nerdy, but that's me. And then it just sounds so majestic in the way they do it, and it puts a whole different twist on the song that we all already know and love. And they do this with a bunch of different pieces, and so everybody knows Come Thou Fount, and Jesus Paid It All, and In Christ Alone, and they take all of these songs and just make them a little bit different and a little bit more funky and unique, and it gives a whole different feeling to these songs that we've heard a million times, and so it creates a whole new experience through the music that they write for these lyrics that we already know, and I just think that's really cool. So King Kaleidoscope.
Hey guys, I'm Sloan, and Adrian had kind of talked to us about songs that just really resonate with us and mean a lot to us. And so for me, that is Satisfied in You by the Sing Team. I heard it about 3 years ago, and the way I had kind of heard it was being prayed over me, which I had never really experienced anything like that before. And so it just came at a really good time in my life. And looking back, I'm able to just see the faithfulness of God working through my life during that time. And it's a song that like I still cling to. I think it shows just a lot of humility, and it's just really real. And I think it encourages me because it's so honest. There's a verse in it that says, "Let my sighs give way to songs that sing about your faithfulness. Let my pain reveal your glory as my only real rest. Let my losses show me all I truly have is you." So I think this song is just really encouraging for me, and it talks about this at the beginning of the song, when I don't have an appetite to like get in the word or do devotionals or worship. The song just really encourages me to like want to be in his presence, and I want to be satisfied in him. And so, yeah, this is a song that I hold near and dear to my heart. I love it. I hope it encourages you guys. Yeah, I miss you guys.
I would say one of my favorite songs is Stand in Your Love by Josh Baldwin. His chorus is, "My fear doesn't stand a chance when I stand in your love." It's great.
What's up, guys? So I wanted to share a couple songs that mean a lot to me right now, and they're helping me connect with peace with Jesus in these times. So I remember a couple of years ago when our middle son, Graham, he got real sick when he was about 6 months old, and we ended up being in the hospital with him for a week. And one of the things I remember about that week is I had a playlist on my phone of songs that would just play nonstop while we were in there. As he's hooked up to all this stuff, we're getting different reports, we're just waiting and praying. And those songs, that music just kind of became just a way to feel the presence of God, a way to know that God was with us in that time. So I hope that's what music does for me. So I want to share a couple songs that are helping me connect with Jesus and his peace and his love during these times. So the first song is a song called Anchor of Peace. It's by North Point Worship. I kind of stumbled across this song a couple weeks ago, and it has become our family's jam. I played it in the morning, and Graham and Brant start dancing and singing to it. Trip even smiles. And so it's just a song that's all about that Jesus is the anchor of peace. Kind of like we talked about last week in church. We have to let go of our fears and cling to Jesus. And so that song is in the midst of just kind of uncertainty in our family and lots of prayer, remembering Jesus is our anchor. Jesus is the one that brings peace, not how my day goes or what the news says, what I read on my phone. Jesus is the one that brings peace, and it's in him and only him that I can anchor in and find true peace. So that song is just reminds me of that all the time, helps me anchor in him. And then two other songs, these are kind of old school, but just have always been songs of peace and help me anchor in Christ, is a song by John Mark McMillan called The Love You Swore. And there's a line in there that says, I'm holding on to you in the eye of the storm. I'm holding on to the love you swore, which I just love. In the eye of the storm, whatever's happening, I am holding on to the love that you swore. And then there's another song called Farther Along by Josh Garles. And this is a remake. A lot of y'all know the song Farther Along, but it's his version of it. And it's just a powerful song. Reminds us that one day this will make sense. And it's so easy to just get laser focused on right now, this week, what's going on in my life, and forget the big picture. And so Farther Along just reminds me the big picture. God is not surprised by this. And so I can cling to him and the peace that he offers in these times. Because farther along, one day, we'll be able to look back and hopefully, and it'll make a little bit more sense. So those are my 3 songs. I hope they're a blessing to you. I hope they help you connect with Jesus during these times. Love y'all.